Hey guys, welcome to this video with myself, Alex, and today we're going to be delving into the topic of anxiety and also giving a practical way that we can deal with that on a somatic, body-based level. Many of us today, we experience anxiety. We all know what it feels like, that persistent feeling of unease or edginess, hypervigilance, this kind of stuff, often accompanied by a narrative to some degree or another that says, I am not okay. So I'd really like to explore this with you from a body-based perspective. And when I say a body-based perspective, it's important that I make that distinction because there's a lot of cognitive tricks and tools and techniques and all this kind of stuff to deal with anxiety, but ultimately it is a bodily experience. It is a sensational experience. It's filled with feeling and sensation and energy and emotion, and it's not actually as cognitive as we like to think. So from a body-based perspective, we see anxiety as either a holding pattern or a dead zone. Dead zones in the body or a holding pattern in the body. A holding pattern is an area in the body that has constricted, it's tightened, like gone quite hard and rigid and stiff, and it's unable to relax. That is the definition actually of a holding pattern. Areas of the body that even when we're relaxed, even if we're asleep, the muscle is still holding, it's still locked tight, it's still holding on. A dead zone, which is the opposite of this, is an area of the body where we've taken out our awareness. We've removed all of our awareness, or most of our awareness, a lot of our awareness from this part of the body. So just to give an example of that, of a dead zone, and many of us can relate to this, would be the lower back or the legs. Let's say the lower back. The lower back, for most of us, by the time we get to our mid-20s or maybe even sooner, we can't really feel the lower back. We can't really bring our awareness into the lower back. And this has a lot of psychological problems when we can't feel the lower back. You know, the lower back is an area of the body that really allows us to stand upright. You know, it really supports us. Feeling the lower back gives us a sense of okayness. Now, if we think of anxiety and what the experience is, using the definition I just used, I am not okay, I'm not okay. Well, if we had feeling in the lower back, if we could bring awareness into the lower back or the back as a whole, that can, in time, start to correct this misalignment, this feeling of not being okay, by feeling our own back, like, you know, having our own back, I guess we could say. And going back to the holding patterns, they typically tend to keep in deeper levels of feeling. So as I said, the muscle locks tight, it's unable to relax, it can't let go, it's just holding on, a holding pattern. But what's underneath the holding pattern, for most of us, is some level of buried emotion. There's a repressed feeling inside of there. And the reason the muscle wants to hold on and keep everything in is because at some point in our life, quite likely, this emotion that's buried under there was too much for you or I to handle. It wasn't safe enough to express and feel this feeling. So really the emotions are holding on for dear life. Not the emotions, the muscles are holding on for dear life in a very real way, because on some level we felt, well, if I expressed my anger, if I expressed my hurt, my vulnerability, well, that is not safe. And you know, we can trace this further down the rabbit hole, and it actually comes down to a fear of death. You know, it's not safe for me to be who I am. It's not safe for me to express my true feelings. And yeah, we really do internalize this as equating to death, really. So from a body-based perspective, what we do is practice, what I do, should I say, is practice bioenergetics. Bioenergetics is just an all-round great therapy for treating holding patterns and dead zones. We stretch in particular ways that allow this holding, this muscular holding pattern, we stretch in particular ways that allow this to start to release. You know, I think a definition of this is like, I can't think off the top of my head, but it's like an intelligent, stressful stretch or something like that. So we put our body in these stretches, these poses, and the way that we do it, it allows the muscles to start to let go. It allows the muscles to start to relax. And we breathe in a particular way, so in and out through the mouth. If you've done this with me before, you know that I'm very keen, I'm a big advocate for breathing in and out through the mouth, which same again is kind of specific in treating holding patterns and dead zones, because it allows the energy to build, it allows the muscles to start to loosen and relax. So we're not trying to calm down, we're actually going to be breathing deep, stretching and bringing the air in, which causes a charge which gets the muscles to spontaneously let go. Now for the dead zones, the third element of bioenergetics is feeling the body. So for dead zones, it's really important that we start to get some level of feeling back in the body. Because ultimately, that's all a dead zone is. An area of the body, the lower back, let's say, where we can't feel anymore. We can't feel anymore. So stretch, breathe and feel is the teaching, is the bioenergetic teaching. And the more that we can do this, the more that we can start to loosen the muscles, the more we can bring awareness back into the body, the more we can allow anxiety to start to come up. We can allow anxiety to come up into our conscious experience. And once we start to allow this anxiety to come up, to move through and come into our experience, rather than pushing it away with, you know, either the mind or the holding patterns, whatever way we want to look at it, when we stop pushing it away, that is when we start to transform and heal anxiety. Not even transform or heal really, it's an integration process. It's a very basic procedure, let's say, in treating anxiety, but we make it complicated by using all of these, you know, tools and tricks and trying to rationalize. If we can just get in there and feel, if we can just feel the anxiety and be okay with it. I don't mean relax the anxiety, I don't mean try to make it into a specific thing, but if we can just be with the anxiety and allow it in its full intensity, then it does start to integrate. And when it starts to integrate, we naturally start to feel just a little bit more expansive. You know, we start to feel a little bit more spacious inside. There's a little bit more room for anxiety to be here. So rather than it being some contracted, constricted, heady experience, where it's just like, get me the fuck out of here, I don't want this experience, I need to leave, I need to get on my phone, I need to distract myself, I need to eat some food or whatever it is. When we practice this work, we start to feel a little bit more open. There's a little bit more room for experience. And that little bit more room can obviously turn into a lot of room, a lot of space. But just having that little bit of space is really enough to set us on the right path for treating anxiety. Okay guys, welcome to this video, this workout video, where we're going to be practicing some bioenergetics exercises. And we're going to be doing this in relation to the treatment of anxiety, of treating anxiety. The postures we're going to be using, you may have done them before. I don't think I've actually taught one of them on YouTube before, so that's pretty exciting. But the one that you may have done is the arch posture, where we do this like forward fold, and then we're going to go into the pelvic wave, which I'll describe in a minute. But before I get into that, before I get into the postures and the timings and whatnot, I want to explain why these postures are really effective for treating anxiety. The arch posture, where we fold forward, stretching the entire back part of the body, allows the muscles in the back, in the legs, the tops, the shoulder blades and so on to start to open. Now, when this comes to anxiety, this is super important. For many of us that have anxiety, we're in our heads, you know, we're trying to keep it together, we're trying to construct our face, all the awareness is here, you know, like how I look, how I'm perceived to some extent, or it's just in the mind. The back is entirely non-existent for most people that are experiencing this feeling of unease, of not being okay. The awareness of the back is non-existent. So what we're going to do in this workout is bring more awareness into the back. And the arch posture and the pelvic wave, what I'll describe in a minute, is really, really useful for allowing the awareness to come into the back, to allow the awareness to return to the back part of the body, to return back to the back part of the body. And the more we can do this, we notice that there's a psychological correlation with feeling certain areas of the body and the thoughts that we have in our mind. If we can feel our back, it's a sense of being okay, it's a sense of being upright, it's a sense of being in the world, you know, and being okay in the world, being here and having the right to be here, you know, almost feeling entitled to be here. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing with people that experience anxiety, because many of them feel, you know, fragile, weak, in their heads, everything's a bit too much and overwhelming. So bringing attention back into the back, into the body, it's going to really support you. It's going to really support you to change how you think, how you feel, and in time, it can transform your full experience, have no doubt. Okay guys, so I'm going to demonstrate the postures. First one being the arch, second being the pelvic wave, and we're going to go around a couple of times. For the arch posture, we're going to do 1 ding. For the pelvic wave, we're going to do 2 dings. And then we'll go back into the arch posture, 1 ding, and then the pelvic wave, 2 dings again. And we'll finish with some shaking. I'll demonstrate it, just makes it a bit more easier to understand. So firstly, the arch posture. Feet, I'll turn on the side so you can see me, it's usually helpful. Feet about shoulder width apart, or a bit less in fact. Slight bend in the knees. And for the arch posture, it's really important that we're nice and relaxed. So that, you know, they say the top half of the body wants to be like a rag doll. When we get down there, we're just kind of hanging, you know. So the head gets heavy, leading the way. I'm nice and loose, like a rag doll. And I'm working my way down. Bringing the weight slightly forward into the balls of my feet. Have a little shake out with my head, arms, bending the knees. And of course, once I'm down in this posture, I start to breathe deep in and out through the mouth. And I'll just add that as well with bioenergetics. If you've not seen bioenergetics before, it's really important that we breathe deep in and out through the mouth and feel the body. So there's 3 core components: stretch, breathe, and feel. This being the stretch. So we're down, we're stretching, and of course we're bringing the other 2 elements. So breathing deep through the mouth, feel the body. So that's posture 1. Going to go into the second posture, which is the pelvic wave. Not taught this before on YouTube, so I'll do my best. Keeping the feet a bit less than shoulder width, or actually you can go to shoulder width, whatever comfortable really. Nice grounded stance, and all we're going to do for the pelvic wave is very simple, but what's important with this exercise is that we really feel the body. We really allow the body to take over. So as we go through the movement, what I'm going to demonstrate in a minute, feel into the body moving, allow the body to move. You know, see if you can find that sort of sweet spot where the body is just generating its own movement. So let me demo. So the pelvic wave goes as follows. So this is meant to symbolise a wave. or a wave crashing into the lower back. And then the body, the rest of the body just follows along. I can already feel just within 10 seconds of doing this, my entire body starts to relax. It starts to feel more at ease. So just rocking the pelvis back and forward like there's a wave crashing into the lower back and feeling the body. And of course it's still bioenergetic, so we're still breathing deep and feeling, but the emphasis is really on feeling this pelvic wave. Don't get too technical about it. You can't really get it wrong. You can't really get the pelvic wave wrong. As long as the pelvis is moving to some degree, leave the rest to the body. Don't get too involved. So we're going to do the arch posture, feeling the lower back, feeling the entire back in fact, and then we're going to go into the pelvic wave, and we'll be going for about 10 minutes, finish with some shaking. Okay? So if you want to take your positions, we'll get ready to go into the arch posture. Feet a bit less than shoulder width, if that feels okay. It does for me, but you figure it out yourself. Bending the knees, head's getting heavy, the ding track is on, and away we go. So just hanging forward, and the weight comes slightly forward into the balls of the feet. Having a little shake out with the arms, yes, no with the head. And once we've had a shake out, start breathing deep in and out through the mouth. Always through the mouth. Really important that we breathe through the mouth. We're trying to create some level of feeling in the back part of the body. Or we're looking for any feeling in the back part of the body, should I say. So now we're stretching, breathing deep through the mouth. We begin to feel, deliberately, intentionally feel the body. But the feeling is not a doing, it's a recognition of what's here, what can be felt. Keep on breathing, feeling into the body, feeling the lower back, feeling the backs of the legs. Remember, we're trying to bring attention to the back part of the body. Most of us don't have that much sensation in the back part of the body. We've taken it all out. It's a huge dead zone for many of us. Making sure we're nice and loose, ragdoll loose. Okay, that was the ding. Slowly coming back up. Head is the last thing to come up, one vertebra at a time. And then we're going to go into the pelvic wave. I'll turn on the side. And remember, you can have the eyes closed for this as well. Remember, we're just allowing the body to do its thing. So we can start it off with just rocking the pelvis forward, a wave crashing into our lower back. But we're really looking for the body just to take over, but it may take a bit of time. Don't hold your breath, trying to get the movement right. It's important that we keep on breathing through the mouth, feeling the body, and that's when the body will start to come online. So we're actually going to go for 2 dings. So we're going to be doing this for quite a while. So closing the eyes if they're not already, and just going on a little bit of a journey with this, just exploring our feeling sense, feeling the back, feeling the entire body. It's the first thing, keep going. And just notice if you're trying to control the experience, if you're trying to make it a certain way, if you're trying to be a certain way, all we have to do is bring the pelvis forward and allow the body to do its thing. Which maybe the head's moving, the arms are moving, you're not moving that much, whatever. Just keep on breathing and feeling whatever's there. Keeping the attention inside the body. That's the ding. Don't be in a rush to stop. We can just keep it going for a few more seconds. And then we're going to transition into the arch posture one more time. So bring the feet a bit closer together if that feels right. Knees bent, head's getting heavy, leading the way, breathing and feeling. And remember, when we're down here, let's have a shake out. Yes, no with the head. But really importantly, stay connected to the feeling. When we're in the pelvic wave, we can often feel a lot more than we typically can. So see if you can bring that into the arch posture as well. It's like the pelvic wave treats the dead zones, and the arch posture treats the holding patterns. One's stretching and opening up the muscles, and one's flooding the body with feeling. And in turn, treating many psychological issues that we have. Feel into the back, feel into the calves, keep the breath going, but we're continuously feeling. That's where the change happens, when we can fully feel our direct experience. Okay, that was the ding. Slowly coming up. Pelvic wave. 2 more dings. Let's go. And just noticing if the body's a little bit more open after doing the arch posture. And when I say open, I mean it in a very tangible way, you know, like the muscles are starting to open. The holding patterns can start to dissolve. And there's just a little bit more openness, a little bit more receptivity in the muscles. Less contraction, more feeling. Making sure the belly is relaxed, the arms and the shoulders are relaxed, the movement is in the pelvis and the rest just revolves around it. So the pelvis is at the centre. One ding, or one more ding. Remember, we're flooding the body with feeling. I don't mean a particular feeling. I mean the feeling sense, so we're bringing our feeling sense online. We're flooding our body with our feeling sense, our ability as human beings to feel. Notice it. Breathing out. Fully in the body. As deeply as we can be inside the body. Not inside the mind, inside the sense of the body. The sensations, the raw feelings of the body. And you can make sound on the out breath, as I am doing. If some spontaneous sound or movement starts to happen, we certainly allow that. We certainly allow it. Okay, that was the ding. Let's start to bring the pelvic wave to a steady end. Okay, let's do a couple of dings of shaking just to integrate. Feet shoulder width a bit more, and we're just going to shake on the vertical axis. You can bring the palms forward, shoulders relaxed, hands relaxed, wrists. And we're staying with the practice, staying with bioenergetics. Breathe, stretch, feel. And of course the stretch in this phase is the shake. what I should have said actually with the pelvic wave, I'm not sure if I did, the eyes can be open or closed, but sometimes closed is a little better just to enhance the feeling. And the same with the shake. You know, at the end, right now, my eyes are open, but your eyes can be closed if you feel safe enough to do so. One more ding. Let's keep on shaking. Feeling the body. I often notice when I do this shake that I start to contract in my lower belly for whatever reason, maybe because I'm talking or something, but there's always a movement towards contraction in the lower belly when I shake. So just check that. It may not be the lower belly for you, it could be the back or the hips or a calf or, you know, one side of the body or something like that. Just scan the body with your awareness. Deep breaths in and out, but emphasizing that out breath just a little bit more as we're bringing the session to a close. Staying present in the body until the ding goes. Okay, that was the ding. Just like the pelvic wave, we can just take a few seconds to allow the shake to come to an end, certainly if it's happening spontaneously. Okay guys, well done. That was pelvic wave, arch posture, finishing with some shaking. And as I say, these two exercises combined are really, really useful for working the holding patterns, muscular armoring, and also the dead zones, particularly with that pelvic wave. Hopefully you could feel it. When we start to move our pelvis in this way, the body floods with feeling. It's like an automatic sense of feeling in the body, what isn't really there in our day-to-day life, but it can be quite powerful. And you know, you can really extend this. We was working on maybe a 90-second ding there or a 2-minute ding, I'm not actually sure. But you can really increase this, you know, with the pelvic wave. You could go for sort of 10, 15, 20 minutes just doing the pelvic wave if you feel to. And you can also put on a little bit of music, some like waves, you know, oceanic music or nature or something like this. And you can really relax into it. And same for the arch as well. If I think it was on maybe 2 minutes there, you can increase that to 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. But just really make sure you have the postures down. Not so much with the pelvic wave, but with the arch, make sure you've got the posture down. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Cheers guys.
Hello guys, so my name's Chris, and you probably didn't realise then, but I was following along with the bioenergetics practice with Alex. I'm very fortunate in that I have a private instructor here working with me every day. So I thought it'd be fun to sit down and ask Alex some questions about this practice, about overcoming anxiety using this practice, and yeah, we'll just see what comes from it. So yeah, when I was doing the pelvic wave there, we were chatting just after I stopped recording, and you said, did you enjoy it? Were you enjoying it? And I sort of hesitated, and then I said, I wasn't enjoying it at first because I noticed when I was doing it, I wasn't feeling my body. And I'm someone who always talks about feeling the body, and I'm actually very much into feeling the body. And even then, when I was practicing, I noticed that I was just like going through the motions a bit, and I wasn't in my body. And then as soon as I heard you say, okay, feel your body, I just dropped all my attention into my body, and then it was like the body lit up. And it was through feeling the body, which is just a simple switch inside. It's from feeling the thoughts, or being in the thoughts, to feeling the body. And it made the practice like a lot more relieving and feel a lot more energetically healing. So would you, and I think it's really, really important to emphasize that feeling the body is probably the most important part of this practice.
Absolutely.
So could you talk about that and perhaps try and convince people to feel the body when they're doing it?
Yeah, absolutely. What I find is with this type of work, with bioenergetics, we have the stretching part, we have the breathing part, breathing deep in and out through the mouth, and then we have the feeling body part as well. And if we're going to stretch, we can get some benefit from that. We all know that stretching is good, stretching the body, and we become more flexible, that kind of stuff. And we also know that breathing deep is also good. For the most part, we can get some benefits, health benefits from from breathing deep in and out through the mouth. However, feeling the body tends to be the one that gets neglected by most people, and it's more like it's usually the harder one to do, because you can't do it. In fact, I guess that's the reason. We can stretch, we can force ourselves into a particular stretch, we can focus on the breath, start to hyperventilate to some extent, but the feeling part of the exercise, the feeling part of bioenergetics is much more of a surrender opposed to an actively doing. So if we're going to breathe and stretch in a particular way, we really need to be there in a surrendered type of way, in a feeling-based way, to process that which is coming up. Because what we've got to remember with bioenergetics is that it's from psychotherapy. It's more rooted in emotional health and psychological health than it is physical health. So the physical benefits of stretching and breathing we know, but we're not doing this necessarily for physical benefits. There may be a byproduct, but the aim of this type of work is to become more healthy emotionally and psychologically. And the way that we do that is by flooding the body with feeling. We go into this surrendered state where we feel the body and we feel what's in there, meaning that there's usually, for most, if not all of us, repressed feelings that are outside of our awareness. We often can't see these or feel these or experience them because they're outside of our conscious awareness, and we use the stretching and breathing to bring them up. So it's really important that when we're bringing up feelings through the use of the breath, through the use of stretching, putting the body in stretches, stressful stretches, that we're there with our feeling sense to meet what's coming up. We have to get into, or train ourselves at least, to feel more. And that's what I love about bioenergetics. It really is a training in how to feel. It's a training in feeling. There's lots of trainings in thinking better, positively, being intellectual, whatever. But this is really a process of becoming more feeling based, learning how to feel, reclaiming our feeling potential. So it is the foundation, it's everything when it comes to bioenergetics, because without it, not much really shifts. So if you are practicing bioenergetics, if you've got your own practice or you're just getting into it, I really encourage people to feel, don't neglect it. It's actually, I would say, it's more important to feel than it is to stretch and breathe. You can get something from feeling the body that you can't get from stretching. You know, you can go to a yoga class, and as great as yoga is, you don't get a great deal from it, or maybe you do, I don't know, I never really did, from stretching in terms of emotional health. You know, I'd feel a bit more chill and relaxed and flexible, but I never really felt like I'd cleared out repression on some level. But feeling the body does do that. It clears out old blockages and patterns and, you know, buried emotions.
Yeah, thanks for that. Good explanation. It's funny because I think if we could kind of summarize our whole school in a single word, feel. It's like if you just had one word, if you just said feel, then that could completely transform your entire life. And of course, we add on all sorts of other things as well, but feeling is probably the most important. And yeah, it's a great reminder for me during the practice to not just go through the motions like it's an exercise. You can exercise in a disembodied way,
absolutely,
or you can exercise in an embodied way.
Good point.
And usually we exercise, or our whole lives we've been exercising in a disembodied way. We're just using our body, whereas this is like being with the body, feeling the body. So you can exercise in an embodied way, but you can do bioenergetics in a disembodied way, or you can do it in an embodied way. And it's still, I feel you still get benefits from a disembodied bioenergetics practice, but you probably get 10 times the amount of benefits from an embodied bioenergetics practice.
And also just to add on that as well, like, it's very easy to breathe and stretch in a particular way and think, oh, this is giving me some benefit. Oh, this is good, I feel better. And the chances are it's an accurate reflection of what you feel or what you think's going on. But, you know, having done this work for a lot of years, I know quite well now that there's always something deeper. You know, so far for me, there's always something deeper going on. There's always another layer to go through. And feeling the body, like being embodied while practicing and like surrendering into the experience, the body just reveals more and more. So don't get caught up in that sort of like, oh yeah, I'm doing it right, I've got the postures and I'm breathing deep. I feel pretty good from bioenergetics. You know, whatever the story is, I'm just giving that as an example. But when you include the feeling, it's completely unknown and spontaneous, because what we're doing is we're knocking our ego, our conscious self out of touch to some degree. We're taking it out of the equation. And when we get out of the way, that's when the unknown and the shifts and the movements and things start to happen that we was like, oh, I didn't see that coming, and I didn't know that I was blocked like that. I didn't realize I had this going on. That's when the mind gets out of the way. So the first two, breathing and stretching, can be, it's like an engagement. It's almost something for the mind to do. Okay, I stretch like this, I put my arms up. That's the mind thinking, like the structure of how it is. Okay, I focus on my breath. It is kind of a mindy thing, but the feeling just knocks the mind out of touch. And that's when the shifts start to happen.
Yeah. And can you talk about the magic that can come alive when you do these practices and when you feel the body? Because when you're talking, I'm getting like these sort of excited feelings about coming into the body. And you might hear embodiment or bioenergetics and you might get relief from it. But can you talk a little bit about the magic of it, like the magic of coming into the body?
Yeah, I can try to. Yeah. The best way I could describe coming into the body, and I don't know if it sounds so magical or mystical or anything like that, or even special, but how I can describe this and what makes it so worth it is that I get to know myself in a very intimate way. So feeling the body, coming into my body, it's like my most direct experience of who I am. And that, in a very real way, is a mystery, is magic. Because it's like the more I delve into who I am, the the more it becomes mysterious. It's more like things reveal themselves, like you get things reflected back to you about who you are or what you are, or, you know, this kind of like non-verbal, non-linear reality or something like that just starts to open up a little bit. You know, maybe that sounds a bit mystical, but it's something along those lines of like really coming to know who you are. And of course, when I say who you are, I'm not talking about our thoughts. I'm not talking about Alex. I'm not talking about, you know, what I do for a job or anything like that, like discovering my passion or anything, you know, that kind of stuff. It's a direct experience of what this is, of what I am, or something like that. And the body can offer that. Bioenergetics can offer that. I mean, certainly don't look for that or don't try to create that. Just keep it simple and let the body reveal when it wants to. If it ever does, you know, it'll be different for you than it is for me, and vice versa. So,
yeah, no, beautiful answer. Yeah, it's like connecting to the body brings us back home in a way.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that sense of home is a mysterious place.
It's a familiar, familiar feeling.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I mean?
And like, it's just the most wonderful discovery.
The most wonderful, intimate experience of oneself is in the body, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's I won't say anything more about it. Well, I want to move away from the mystical and magical and into the practical.
Getting tarot cards out.
I'll get my tarot cards and my crystals out. No, I'm joking. So I want to talk about practical. So people may have been watching a few of your recent videos. They may have been watching our channel for a while. We've been going for a couple of years. But say someone's new to the channel, they're new to bioenergetics, and they've watched a few videos, what are the next steps that they should take? I.e., should they practice every day? Should they take this practice, for instance, and do it every day for 7 days, and then move on to another practice of yours, which you can find on the channel, and take that on for 7 days? Or can they just mix it up? Can you talk about practically how to apply bioenergetics to your life, to heal trauma, to heal your emotions, to overcome anxiety, whatever it is?
Yeah, it's a good question. You know, with the body, I think simplicity is key. I mean, maybe with everything in life, simplicity is key, but using it in the context of bioenergetics and the body, just start off small, you know, start small with some practices. It can be the bow posture and the arch posture. They're like two cornerstone postures that can really start to open us up over the entire body. So we start to get a feel for the practice and the components of bioenergetics. So we can literally just do like 12 minutes a day for 7 days just to familiarize ourselves with bioenergetics, and that can be enough. That can be more than enough to get started. The main thing is that you start, in fact, you know, that you commit to. Actually, that's not the main thing. The main thing is commitment, I'd say. Is just having a commitment, a daily commitment to the body is probably the most important thing. And what I mean by that is it's not so much how long, what practices you do, bow, arch, shoulders, jaw, eyes, whatever. The most important thing is waking up each day and having some time to commit to the body, to commit to feeling. Just for 10, 15, 20 minutes, 1 hour, whatever it is. Today, I'm just going to give some time to my body. And bioenergetics is such a great way to do that, because we have a routine, we have timers, ding tracks. It can be quite exciting doing bioenergetics, and that is our time. That's how I see it. When I get up, I practice in the morning. Okay, I've got 1-2 hours maybe. This is a time for feeling. This is a time to give myself to my feeling life, my feeling world, content, whatever, and that's it. It's like I kind of get it in early on, because as the day progresses, I'd certainly go into my head. But yeah, figuring out what works for you, and of course people can message in if they've got specific questions or injuries. It's another thing to consider. It's generally quite safe, bioenergetics, but yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to bounce off that, what you were talking about with commitment, because I think it's a really, really important point that in our society, we go after instant gratification.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of people who think that they can heal like really quickly from a little technique. Oh, come to this workshop, this 2-day workshop, and you'll have healed all of your trauma and whatever. But from my experience, and certainly from Alex's experience, this shit takes time, which you may think, oh no, it takes time, but there's a beauty in that, and there's something really valuable in that. And what was coming to me when you were talking was CrossFit. So Alex and I have started CrossFit recently, and everybody knows that you're not going to get in really good shape in 2 weeks. You're not going to get in really good shape in 2 months. You might get in really good shape in 2 years. And that's from committing 3, 4, 5 times a week. It's like you just keep chipping away, you keep lifting the weights, you keep doing the exercises, and your body and your health and your fitness transforms. And it's the same with spirituality, it's the same with the body work, it's the same with embodiment. Know that it takes a little bit of time, but we just commit every day. And within 1 year, within 2 years, if you don't do this practice, you will be in the same place. But if you take on the practices and you do it every single day, within a year, 2 years, your whole life could have transformed. And see where you're at 5 years. Your whole life can transform through these practices. And it's all about commitment. The people who make change are the ones who really commit. I see that so many times. It's the people who commit that make change. Like I've got friends who they might have gone to a craniosacral session, and they really want to overcome this thing they're struggling with. And after 3 sessions, they're like, it doesn't work. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I've had 150 craniosacral sessions. It takes time. These things take time. There's no quick fix.
Yeah.
So
bioenergetics is no different. It's not really a one-time deal. I mean, yeah, bioenergetics is really beautiful because it does kind of have immediate benefits, and it has, more importantly, long-term benefits.
Yeah.
What come with commitment. But if you do bioenergetics, certainly some of the exercises, you can get that same endorphin rush as going to the gym or something like that, which is pretty great. But the longer you do it, the better, or the deeper, the more lasting the benefits will be. The change is more authentic, actually, would be a good way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same as CrossFit, isn't it? You've been going for 6 weeks, I've been going for 3 weeks, and I feel different. I feel better. I've got more energy, and that's a quick thing. But over time, the real benefits come with time, with consistent practice.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Yeah, and just to really emphasize that point, this commitment. I know we're talking about it now, but I just feel like I want to say, like, to whoever's watching it, committing to a practice like bioenergetics or any type of bodywork, something that engages the body. If you can commit to it and just stick with it, just make that your priority, like every single day, or certainly a few times a week, 5 times out of the 7 or something like that, it can really shift things. But it's just getting over that sort of, usually like a month or 2 months commitment. It's like, just keep chipping away. Like it's invaluable. My teacher says, my body-based therapist teacher who taught me bioenergetics, like, if you do the work, you get the result. So it's like a fail-safe thing that you can do. Like, if you are dealing with something, if there's something you just can't shift, if there's something you can't move past, well, do the work and you'll get the result. It's not so much like cognitive therapy and psychotherapy. where you can kind of go around and you never really know if things are happening and changing and you're going over the same stuff. Remember what I said, like this knocks the mind out of touch. So you're creating change directly, which can be a little bit more intense than doing something such as like visualizations or psychotherapy and stuff like that. But if you're in that place where you need to apply yourself to get out of something, then bioenergetics or any type of, you know, accredited body-based therapy can really do that. And yeah, it's so important. I couldn't think of anything more important in my day than applying myself to this work.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, throw yourselves into it, guys. We've got loads of videos on the channel. We're posting videos every day. We've got events coming up. Just fully throw yourself into this and you will see change. If you want to work with Alex one-to-one, Alex is offering one-to-one sessions via Zoom in bioenergetics and body-based therapy. You can find the link on our website, which we'll put below. Thank you for listening and see you next time.
Cheers guys, thank you.